Yats, Lisa Kalasu Nugwa, Gigitsak Nugwa, Carol Du Andrew Walker Wiwiachlens. Hi, my name is Lisa. I am in Beaver Clan. Carol and Andrew Walker are my parents. I am an Indigenous artist from Kitimat, BC. My father is Haisla First Nations and my mother was born in Liverpool, England. I grew up in Kitimat in northern British Columbia, Canada, and I now am an uninvited guest on the unceded and ancestral and contemporary territories of the Coquitlam First Nation. I have a bachelor's degree in fine arts, and I am currently working full-time as an artist. I started my small business called Lisa Beading in 2019, and that's what I do full-time for work. I make these beaded wearable artworks, and yeah, I just make them out of my home, and it is an incredible life I get to lead, and I feel so lucky to be able to do this as my full-time job. I started beading in my early 20s, and I was taught by a woman from Six Nations out east, and back then I wasn't really prepared to actually bead much. I didn't have the patience and the concentration that I felt like it takes. So I returned to beading in my early 30s as a way to find healing and medicine and grounding. Beading is very meditative. It takes a really long time. I make each piece by hand, not on a loom or anything, just stitching by hand. And I found that beading is a really helpful way for me to learn words in my language, Haisakala. And so I use word lists and recorded online tutorials and such to learn words in my language, and then I repeat the word and I think about it while I'm making beadwork inspired by different words in my language. So in that way, I've really been trying to deepen my understanding and my use of my language. So it's really helped me to learn more and feel more connected and understand more things in my own language. And so yeah, I've spent the past 6 years doing artwork, and sometimes I do major projects, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Was just to record like a very informal artist talk to tell you a little bit about this project that I've been working on for the past year. I was lucky enough to receive a grant from First Peoples Cultural Council to work on this big art project, and I'm so grateful to them for giving me this grant and allowing me to have the time and space and resources to really focus on this project and not just do it off the side of my desk, but to really put time and energy into making these pieces. So yeah, I thought I would just do a little overview of the project and talk about each piece and sort of what they all mean. So this is the project here. This other beadwork is also my work, but it's just other small collections or pieces that I've made in the past. And this is my Indigenous Futurisms project. So yeah, I think I'll just like read through the artist talk, the artist statement, and just give you a close-up view of what each piece looks like. And so yeah, this project is about Indigenous futurisms, imagining a world where colonization didn't happen. Indigenous peoples free to thrive and grow with no interruptions. The infinite power of eternal generations of Indigenous peoples before and after us, living our wisdom, sharing our truth, sharing our love and care with the universe forever and ever. So the concept of this project really came from inspiration in my own family. I do find it a little bit challenging to share other people's stories when they're not necessarily comfortable talking about it. So I try to be sensitive, but it's also part of my own history of intergenerational trauma. So my dad went to residential day school, and my grandfather went to residential school. My paternal grandmother, whose name was Ruby, was like successfully hidden away, so she didn't actually attend the residential school. And this kind of gives me the inspiration for this project, where I think about parents who hid their children successfully, and my parent who, in his own way, tried to hide me as well, in the ways that he was brought up to feel differently about his own culture, and how he tried to shield me from his culture as well because of all the negative connotations of it. So I just was thinking about how, like, in his own way, he's trying to shield me from it too, and how all of that trauma informs this project that I've been working on. So it imagines ancestors who hid their children and teachings, my grandmother Ruby, who was hidden well enough not to attend. These express gratitude to my father, who in his own way tried to hide me from my culture, wanting me to thrive and grow in spite of colonial evils. This project is a testament against all acts of genocide, that no matter how many of us you manage to eradicate, there will always be more of us. We will always be hidden away and protected. We will always return. Indigenous sacredness is forever and ever, and colonial evils will never truly win. This project helped heal parts of myself and parts of my ancestors by trying to display and dream of strength, hope, and resilience. To create work that is informed by a foundation of intergenerational trauma, but transform it into a hopeful, strong, resilient statement about indigeneity. So I was really thinking about intergenerational trauma, but also intergenerational resilience. And I guess, like, I feel a little bit tired isn't the right word. I don't even know if burnt out is the right word, but I'm feeling, I guess, like, drained by content about residential school, and I feel exhausted and angry and burdened by it. And I just wanted to try to make work like I wrote, like, informed by the trauma of residential school, but sort of trying to imagine a future without it, trying to imagine a future and a past without it, and like how like the role of artists is to imagine a future and a past differently. And with everything that's going on in the world right now in 2025, it feels horrific for so many people. And I wanted to just put something transformative out in the world where we envision and manifest a past and a future without the influence and interruption and corruption of colonial evils. So I just wanted to really, like, embody that feeling and really put myself in that mindset of what it would be like if Indigenous peoples were free to thrive and evolve and grow our cultures and grow our traditions and our teachings and our knowledge in uninterrupted ways. And like I wrote, like inspired by Wakanda, and like what what does Indigenous futurism really look like? What would it really feel like? So I've tried really hard to like get into that mindset as I'm working on these pieces, and it's challenging, right? Especially in the world we're in right now, to put yourself and your mind into an optimistic and imaginative and creative and hopeful mindset. And part of the way that I did that for this project was to listen to audiobooks, like Breeding Sweetgrass, to listen to podcasts like um, the Matriarch Movement podcast, and to listen to like contemporary Indigenous music, things like Snotty Nose Raz Kids, Jeremy Dutcher. Especially, I listen to a lot of Leanne Betta-Samosek Simpson. I hope I said that right. Leanne Betta-Samosek Simpson's Flight album from 2016. And I listen to a lot of Tia Wood, Tomahawk Bang, Alyssa P., Willie Dunn, just a lot of like old and new music that makes me feel transported to like a hopeful and healed and resilient and cool and modern, and historical, traditional, but just like a strong sense of indigeneity in lots of different forms. So I would like smudge and try and be in that mindset, like as I'm preparing my beads and laying them out on my mat, and as I'm like making my coffee and getting my snacks and stuff and like getting ready to do this work, I tried really hard to like put myself into that mindset, and not carry the weight of current existence and our current timeline, but really try to put myself into this like other timeline of like hope and excitement and just different, a different world. Yeah, so that's kind of the foundation of what I'm trying to explore in this project. And then I thought I would just go through each piece and just kind of show you them up close and talk a little bit about what they all mean. I am gonna try and pronounce words in Haislakala, and I just really apologize if I say them wrong. I try my best to make sure I know how to say them, but I'm still learning, and unfortunately I don't have like a language mentor or an elder or like a family member who I can speak to about this kind of stuff. So I'm doing my best, and this is a really important part of this project. So I'm just gonna like try my best to say the words properly and hope that they evoke the right meaning. So the first pair that I'm gonna share is the sockeye salmon, or hyson, in Eagle Nebula, and that is this pair. And yeah, so this is meant to be the sockeye salmon. So you can see the heads and then the pink body, and then the bottom is supposed to be the Eagle Nebula, inspired by NASA imagery. And I'll try to show you a photo of the Eagle Nebula that I used. So the sockeye salmon swimming through the Eagle Nebula is about salmon, which are wonderful, intelligent beings who generously share themselves with us and keep our ecosystem rich and healthy. This pair of earrings imagines the evolution of sockeye salmon expanding throughout time, before us and after us, sharing their gifts and teachings with our ancestors and our grandchildren. Floating through time and space, sockeye salmon beings are eternal. This probably has about 150 different types of beads in it. They hang 12 inches, so they're quite long, but they're actually the shortest in this series. And yeah, I think they took me probably about 25 to 30 hours. Each pair took about 30 hours, and probably made over about 2 weeks. I made these last year, and brought them with me to Indigenous Fashion Arts Festival in Toronto last year. This was the first pair that I made, and this basically inspired the whole project. And yeah, for each pair, there's probably about 60 to 80 in this first fringe, 60 to 80 beads in this first fringe, and then probably about 200 or so beads in like the longest fringe. So there's a lot of beads, there's a lot of crystals, as you can see. There's like moonstone, Swarovski crystals, there's moss agate, rose quartz, labradorite, mother of pearl, abalone shells, and lots of different types of beads. The beads are glass beads. Most of them are from Japan or the Czech Republic. Most of these are charlotte beads that are facet cut in a factory in India. That's what makes them super sparkly. You can see they're just like, they catch the light in really beautiful ways. So this is the bald eagle, Aix du Koya, bald eagle in the Eagle Nebula. Again, this is another pair in the Eagle Nebula. This is probably my favorite nebula to bead. I love the rainbowy colors that come out in the Eagle Nebula. And I tried to do like the head with the beaks, and then the brown feather chest, and the tails in white. So this pair is inspired by Eagle, who is said to be the spiritual messenger, closest to Creator because of how high they fly. This pair hangs about 15 inches and depicts Aix du Koya flying through the Eagle Nebula. So yeah, these ones I think these are actually the longest. You can see how far down they go. These would be so great on like a fancy outfit for a big event. I love making beaded earrings because they're really like wearable artwork. It's so fun to see where they end up. So this is the Eagle Nebula. So this is the image I worked from to create the bead mix. And you could also search Eagle Nebula if you want to get a better image of it, but that's what inspired this part of the beadwork. So the next one is the Gach Raven in the Witch Head Nebula. And these are inspired by raven. So the tops are supposed to look like a raven head, and then the middle is supposed to be the Witch Head Nebula. And again, you can see lots of different crystals like amethyst, sunstone, lapis lazuli, garnet, lots of different crystals. This one I tried to do the tail with glass dagger drops. So Gach Raven is inspired by a trickster energy. Raven often symbolizes the unknown, the complexity of truth and mystery, the teachings that come from making mistakes or getting into trouble, the power of speaking your truth. This envisions Gach flying through the Witch Head Nebula, embracing trickster energy and building up its mysterious powers. And again, these are quite long, very sparkly. I just can't wait to see what they look like on people wearing them. The next pair is Denyas, red cedar tree. red cedar tree in the Carina Nebula, specifically the Cosmic Cliffs. And the Cosmic Cliffs are the star-forming region of the Carina Nebula. And I thought because cedar or Denyas is known as the tree of life, the place where stars are born would be fitting for the cedar to live. These earrings pay homage to how integral the cedar tree is to our physical and spiritual health by offering shelter, weaving, healing, smudging, and protection. These imagine Denyas beings flying through, helping everything grow and thrive. So I tried to do like a cedar tree that's supposed to be like a cedar tree figure. And then I used the Cosmic Cliffs image as inspiration. And again, these have lots of crystals and lots of different beads. And they hang like this, nice and long. And I'll just show you a quick image of the Cosmic Cliffs. So it's this sort of, that's what I tried to emulate for this one. And then the next pair is Kaloon Beaver in the Lagoon Nebula. And that's what they look like. I really tried to do little beaver teeth and the little beaver nose up top, with like a little black paddle tail down there, trying to do that. And these are in the Lagoon Nebula. These contain 24 karat gold beads as well, and lots of different crystals. This piece pays tribute to the beaver, which symbolizes hard work and persistence, adapting to its environment, being creative and resourceful. And I just thought the Lagoon Nebula was like perfect for a beaver to swim around in. Yeah, that's this one. That's how they look on. And then I'll show you a quick picture of, this is the Lagoon Nebula. Yeah, so I just tried to like emulate that kind of rainbowy, like milky colors. And then the next one is Killer Whale, Halchinukwa, Killer Whale in the Orion Nebula. So I tried to do the killer whale heads along with like the white markings on their belly. And then I tried to do like fins at the bottom with the glass dagger drops. So these are inspired by Halchinukwa, killer whale, said to symbolize family and protection. Sometimes it is said that seeing a killer whale means a loved one who has passed on is visiting you or communicating with you in some way. I chose the Orion Nebula because I read that there's water vapor found in that nebula, and I thought that's where Halchinukwa would swim. So that's that pair. Again, they're like very gigantic. I just love how these ones turned out. They look just how I imagined they would look. Oh, and here's an image of the Orion Nebula. And the next pair is Zachwen, Ulican in the Fishhead Nebula. Ulican, Zachwen are a traditional food source for Haisla people and northern people. They are small, oily fishes, delicious when smoked or deep fried. They're a source of like high fat omega-3s. They sustain us through the winter. And I thought the Fish Head Nebula was just perfect for little Ulikin to swim around in. You can also see that's what they look like. A little bit smaller than my earrings, but that's a tattoo of Ulikin on my arm there. And that's the Ulikin in the Fish Head Nebula. Again, these are pretty long. They will be so cool to see them worn. All of these are like pretty heavy, but I would say they're okay to wear for like an evening. You might have to be like an experienced beaded earring wearer to like wear these. You might have to work yourself up to wearing a pair of these. They're definitely heavier than usual, but I don't find them too bad, to be honest. And that's the Fish Head Nebula. Right there, I tried to get that sort of ring, rainbow ring color right there. I don't know if you can see that. And then the last pair is Hueldech Fire in the Flame Nebula. And this pair is inspired by Hueldech Fire, sacred fire, burning, smudging, burning spirit plates, burning a sacred fire. I imagined our ancestors starting a sacred fire and our descendants tending to it, that it burns forever and ever since time immemorial, protecting us and cleansing us, living and breathing beyond time. Hueldech Fire in the Flame Nebula. I really love how these ones turned out. They look so cool. And then I'll just show you a quick image of, this is kind of what the Flame Nebula looked like when I looked it up. So it's very like milky, kind of pastel-y colors. That's what I tried to put in this part, the middle part here. So yeah, that's all my pieces. I would say each pair took about 30 hours, so 8 pairs. I spread them out throughout the past year, and I do have ideas to make more. I just need a break from making them, but I'm very excited and proud of them. It was very cathartic to make them, and I hope that people are interested in seeing them and interested in the meaning. I'm going to try and approach museums and art galleries and just see if there's a way I can display them before I offer them as something for sale. So I'm not sure when that will happen, but if you're interested, you can always follow me on social media. My handle is @lisa.beading. You can also find me at lisabeading.com. You can sign up for my newsletter, and I'm sure you'll hear about the future of these pieces and what will become of them. I'm again very grateful to First Peoples Cultural Council for supporting me in this project and helping me create this, and generously giving me the time and space and allowing me to place my dream bead order of thousands of dollars on beads. So I'm just super grateful. It is an absolute dream of mine to be able to make work like this, and I'm just so grateful to have them come into fruition like this. Yeah, so that's all I have to share. I hope this is helpful, and thank you so much for listening. Okay, Escuelas, take care.